Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing okay. Gonna build off my previous two videos. Today we're gonna talk about why we should not watch TV. There's a lot of TV shows like Celebrity Cribs, or even just watching like the Queen of England. When we watch a scary movie or something like that, the hairs on our neck stand up. Our mind doesn't sense a difference between what's happening on the screen. It thinks it's happening to us. And so shows like MTV Cribs or things like the Queen of England, we heavily identify with these things because they're essentially psychological placations meant to kind of kick the can down the road, prevent revolution and this type of stuff in the voter base. And so previously we talked about the inundation, the psychological inundation of the advertisements for the Mexican beer illness and the monkey poo. I have to use these words so I don't get deleted. And one of the reasons why they invest so heavily, like in Hollywood. Who owns Hollywood? Who owns the rap industry? Who owns the media, right? What type of people, what type of belief systems own these entities, right? That's a little homework for you guys. But we see these $1 million, $1 billion investments in this type of psychological placation when we watch the TV or different types of movies. And quite often they'll make movies that are very similar to reality, and people wonder why. And essentially it's because they're using the manifestation coefficient of our collective consciousness to literally manifest their agenda. Excuse me. And their agenda, of course, is not in favor of the greater population of Earth. Their agenda favors the people who own Hollywood, the people who own the advertising and news agencies. And so every time we watch TV, we're in this imagination land. And not only that, we're kind of in this lower state of awareness in which we are just kind of going along with whatever we're seeing rather than using our intentional conscious intent. We're just going along with whatever the story is. And so when we watch all this scary news, there's not much joy on the TV, on the news, right? It's all sorrow and death and scarcity, this type of mindset. And so when all of us collectively are watching this type of stuff, because of the magnetic field emanation of our heart that can actually converse with the magnetic field of the earth, when we're consuming all of this imagination land type stuff, whether you believe it or not, we're actually manifesting it because of how many people are participating in this type of media-driven psychosis. And there have been several experiments taking place. One of them, the most popular, called the Maharishi effect. I did some papers on this on my website, satvananda.org. You can also find Satvananda on Medium, as well as YouTube, The Consummate Observer, and Satvananda on YouTube. And so the Maharishi effect, several people get together in a specific area and they practice the chi of love, a specific heart emanation. And because they congregate together and produce this specific emotion, it's actually been found to reduce the violent crime rate in the given city or region by a set number of percentage. So they've done this experiment several times and they get the same results every time. They get the same reduction of violent crime based on the practitioners feeling the chi of love or certain types of emotions. And so if we take the inverse of that and we consider why we're watching the TV, why there's so much heavily invested entities in the TV, why the TV is essentially free or very nearly free, why so many people watch the TV, we start to see that the opposite of the Maharishi effect is actually the manifestation of a world that does not favor the greater population. It favors the people who own the governments, the corporations, the news agencies, Hollywood, all of this type of apparatus that hijacks the conscious intent of our people, and of course does not favor us. And so every time we participate in this type of thing like Netflix or movies like Outbreak or disaster, environmental disasters that kind of emulate this global, starts with a W, you see that online or on TV a lot, things getting hotter or whatever. I can't use the word or else I'll get flagged. And so when we're participating in this stuff, we're actually manifesting it against our own conscious intent, because we're kind of sitting back and we're watching this stuff from a passive mindset, but our consciousness is still participating in the manifestation, even though we're kind of like unconsciously manifesting it. And quite often you'll see a lot of people, they will form their worldview based on these fictions that you can get in Hollywood or on Hollywood movies. I mean, we are just inundated with this stuff so regularly for our entire lives. We're inculcated, indoctrinated, and so we end up thinking and believing that it's true. And it might not necessarily be true in the way it's presented to us, but it forms the basis of our worldview when we're looking at this stuff from a serious standpoint, worrying about it, becoming anxious and stuff. And there's not much joy to be found on TV, and that's why they don't want us to be joyful, and manifest our own positive destiny for ourselves and the future of our children. All of the stuff that's happening, all of the manifestation that's taking place by hijacking our own conscious intent, favors a very small population. They call it the 1%, or they call it a lot of different names. And the TV and Netflix and the news and all this stuff, it's very attractive to a lot of people, and especially the people who are working a long job, working all day, and maybe they drink coffee and they don't have enough energy, and maybe they're addicted to alcohol too and cigarettes, and so they're kind of depressed in their endorphins or in their serotonin, and then they're just going to come home. They don't want to really think or actually be active manifesting their destiny. They just want to sit down, relax, and kind of consume this passive TV stuff. And then so the entire society is based on this, all of these types of addictions. That's why we want to get away from drinking caffeine or eating caffeine. That's why we want to heavily reduce our alcohol, stop the drugs, all of this type of thing. Because while we're just partying and having fun, quote unquote, at the Burning Man or whatever, our conscious intent is being hijacked in such a way that we live in the world that we live in today. And a lot of people don't really like the world that we live in. There's a lot of stuff going on that doesn't favor nature or the natural human or animals or plants. And for instance, in one of my previous presentations, movies like Avatar, one of the most, profoundly impactful movies in our history, one of the biggest blockbusters in history, the reason why we identify with it so much is because our subconscious desperately wants to fight for nature, desperately wants to live in nature. And the storyline of Avatar, there's these native peoples, they live in nature in harmony with all the plants and the animals, and this other group of others come with machines and technology and digitization. They come and try to exploit the Avatar home world or people, which is essentially what's happened on our planet. The natural people, everybody's fighting against environmental degradation, environmental pollution, and yet we're making no headway. Why? Because of the TV and the psychological placations that destroy our conscious intent and put us into this passive backseat driver mentality. We all want the same thing, and yet we can't do it. Why? Because we're drinking caffeine, we're smoking cigarettes, we're taking drugs, we're taking pharmaceuticals, we're taking all this mind-numbing alcohol, we're listening to, EDM, all of these fake frequencies that have a profound impact on our subconscious, instead of listening to our traditional acoustic instruments or traditional musics from around the world that actually have a basis in healing frequencies. This is the original intent of music around the world, and of course it's been usurped by places like Hollywood, and again the same actors taking over our once healing music and making it more dissonant, so that it's actually creates a dissonance in our biology, and it extends to sickness and what we perceive as the C word. Starts with C, ends in answer. So yeah, it's a big subject again today. If anybody has any questions, shoot me some questions or schedule an appointment. Yeah, rewatch this video if you need to, because we want to stop all the substance abuse. We want to take an active stance in the manifestation of our destiny. We want to identify our desires, distinct and different from the narratives that we're being presented with on the TV, the Mexican beer illness, the monkey poo, the whatever the flavor of the week is, that the scarcity mindset, all this stuff that's getting us into this anxious mindset, keeping us in the sympathetic nervous system, rather than opening our heart, standing strong with a good posture, shoulders back, neck back, chin up, standing proudly and manifesting a positive future for not only ourselves but our children. And in my yoga sessions, we talk a lot about this, how to maintain your conscious intent in a powerful way. And the main way to do that is by not watching TV, not doing drugs, practicing your focus and your will, seeing the results in your life on a day-to-day basis, getting excited about all this stuff, seeing the manifestation, the positive manifestation for you and your family and the people around you. This stuff will start to kind of snowball in your mind and in the minds of your friends and family who you explain this information to, and you will see a greater, more positive change, more positive development, evolution, renaissance of all these people. Everybody benefits across the board. A lot of my friends and family, we all do this kind of stuff. We talk about this stuff. It might be hard to talk about this subject with some people, but when you break down those barriers, you're going to quickly see that because of the time that we're in, like we went over in the previous video, this specific time of gravitational time dilation, you're going to see people manifesting their desires and their destiny in a positive way, and it's almost going to seem effortless. As soon as you disengage from the caffeine, from the regular alcohol, from the drugs, from the TV, from the fake narratives, from the imagination on Netflix or what have you, you're going to see this accelerated manifestation of our conscious intent because of the time that we're in right now. So make sure to tell everybody for me. Do me a favor, share this video, because a lot of people don't have access to this kind of ideas, especially when they're watching TV and remaining in this kind of scarcity mindset or stress mindset. So hope you're all doing well out there. Thank you again. Bye.